Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I want to talk about Ukraine, the situation in Ukraine. From the beginning of this year, EU and US, supported by Australia, Canada, Norway, has told the people of the world that are working for democratic and a strong Ukraine financially. But do they really do it? Or because I ask a question, because I don't believe the explanation they come with. And I have read some articles in several newspapers in Europe and the US and so on. But anyway, as you see here, John Kerry, Democratic. John Kerry says elections show wish for united democratic Ukraine. Okay. At the same time, Russia has said they are fighting against a right extremist and the right sector in Ukraine. The right sector and the extremist is the same. The right sector and the extremist is controlling the forces, armed forces in Ukraine. They fight against people who live in East Ukraine. The last example on that is an article in a Norwegian newspaper. Fascist threat with turn their back to Kiev. The right sector is a coalition who started the revolution on the Maidan place in the middle of Kiev. And they're the same people who is in the government. They come from the right sector. The difference you have the president, you have the prime minister, you have every man and woman in the government in Ukraine belongs politically to the right sector, or right sector / extremist. At the same time, when I started, you see here, global research, huge population of CIA agents in Ukraine. Says a German expert. It's a German expert, not a US or not a Russian. It's a German expert. A lot of CIA agents in Ukraine. The German newspaper, Bild und Sonntag, has an article where they refer to that US has 400 special troops armed troops in Ukraine. 400. At the same time, the article on News and Channel says a Democratic Senator Bill Nelson said that US should send weapon or military to Ukraine. Okay. What purpose? To destabilize the country, to destabilize Europe. People, you have to look up, get up your open your eyes and see. Europe is destabilized. That's why the conflict between Russia and EU. US don't want Russia to trade with EU, Norway, Canada, Australia. That's why they have CIA agents, they have armed forces in Ukraine. Also, BBC News has an article, Ukraine's revolution and the far right. It's extremists. The government in Ukraine is so far to right which is possible to come. It's extremist. It's right extremist. Extremists. You see here, the Ukrainian nationalism at the heart of Euromaidan. Everyone knows what nationalism is, especially when they come from the right side. Ukraine's ultra-nationalist right sector. You see here, BBC News used the right words for what the government is in Ukraine. And at the same time, when you know the history of Russia, you know that earlier Soviet Union lost 20 million people under the Second World War against Hitler. And Hitler stood for the same as the right sector do in Ukraine today. And the right ultra-nationalists, it's the same ideology, it's the same politics, it's the same yes, it's the same party. And at the same time, those right sector get support and help from CIA, FBI, the White House, US government, political leaders in EU, Canada, Norway, so on. They supported a government who's from the right sector, who is ultra-extremist. And US has used CIA and FBI agents to destabilize Ukraine, so they got the revolution. That's the truth. The whole truth is nothing else. So that's why it became very quiet in the media about Ukraine. Very quiet about the reason. Why don't Western media to talk about the reason about the revolution in Ukraine? The revolution in Ukraine came because of the country became destabilized of US, and the right sector and the ultra-extremists got into power and sit as in the government. It's ultra-extremist. It's nothing. It's nothing else. So, ladies and gentlemen, please be very careful when you read the article. It's propaganda from the West. It's a propaganda from East, from US, from EU, from Norway, from Canada. In this situation, about the conflict in Ukraine, is only propaganda who's counting, and it's a lot of propaganda. And the truth they don't tell the truth. They just tell half of it. Maybe only 20% of the truth they're telling people. So please, people, be very careful when you read a newspaper article about this. Be aware of the propaganda machine in this situation. So I hope the whole truth will come out, but I'm not sure about it. But be aware, use internet to search, use internet to find truth, read a lot of newspapers from the different countries, and so on. Investigate a little bit self in private about what the media tells us. The media tells us not the whole truth, as I said, only maybe 20-25% of it. So I will continue work with this case to find more, but I will give you the links. But the German side and the Norwegian side, you have to translate it if you not understand it. But you can, but it's no problem. There's several ways to do it. But please read it. Take your time and investigate it a little bit more yourself. You will find out that Western media, Western governments, also Eastern, is only propaganda from the beginning to the end. So I will continue this case and work with it. So we see you, but be aware. See you guys.